Okay, we're here with Jen Kirkman. How exciting. How are you?
Oh, it's so exciting. You must be losing your shiz.
Yeah, my shiz.
I'm good. I've been at the festival a couple days, so I'm right in the middle of it.
And you've had a couple of shows.
2 shows at Mainline Theater.
Yeah.
3 more to go.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so my first question is, I always think that stand-up is probably one of the hardest jobs in the world. Like really, like you have to get up there and kind of bare your soul, which you do a lot.
Yeah.
And we'll get to in a second. But do you still get butterflies when you get up on stage?
I've never had them. And that's probably why I do it, because I'm not a fan of doing things that are hard. You know what I mean? The hard part of stand-up is all the behind-the-scenes stuff. The years of, am I ever going to do this for a living? The whatever, you know. The crappy bathrooms, you know, at certain clubs, the whatever, all the business of it is the hard part. But for me, getting up on stage, I mean, I used to have really bad anxiety my whole life, and the only time I didn't have it was on stage. So for me, it was always my safe place, which I know is not normal for most people.
Yeah.
But that's why, like, you know, I think it'd be scary to be a pilot, so I'm not a pilot.
Right.
But so I'm not a brave person. I just do, you know, technically I'm not. But yeah, no, so I don't really get butterflies. I will say I get concerned. There are ways to know. You become like a psychic when you're a stand-up. You know in advance how it's going to go. You see, oh, this crowd is very drunk.
Yes.
Oh, you get concerned and you just kind of go into this
mode.
You go into this autopilot, just like, I'm just going to go into my happy place and pretend this never happened.
Yeah. When did you know you were funny?
I don't still think that I'm funny, and I'm really not trying to be modest, but I feel like I do comedy because I'm desperate for people to go, I relate, I feel the same way.
Well,
but not, and hopefully they laugh, because that's like, they have to, or else I guess I can't say I'm a comedian.
Yeah.
But you know, when I was little, I thought it was hilarious, and nobody else did. It was constant failure. I would dress up at school, like, I went to school dressed as Mozart one time.
Oh, that's very original.
Like, this is hilarious. And kids were like, you're an idiot. And I was like, I really thought they'd like it. I never learned. Every week was a new thing.
Yeah.
So I never got the validation that I was funny.
But what about from your family?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah.
When I started doing comedy, my mom was like, you're so angry and depressed. Why are you even thinking of this? And so she's right. I mean, like, I'm cranky, or I was, you know, as a teenager. My God. Very dramatic. So I went into dramatic. After people didn't find me funny, I was like, you know what? It's all drama from here.
Wow.
I wanted to be a very serious actress. I wanted to just smoke cigarettes and write poetry. So imagine that, like, living with that teenager, and then she goes to college and she comes back and she's like, I want to be a stand-up. And my mother was like, what? Now they think I'm funny. Yeah. But back then I really wasn't.
Now, you spent a lot of time writing for Chelsea Handler, and you did her panel and everything like that. But how hard is it for you as a comedian who writes for yourself, you do your own stand-up and everything, and your own shows, but then sometimes you must feel like, I'm giving away my good stuff to her.
Yeah. Well, it's actually, you know what's funny is writing for a late night host, you don't run into that too much because you're really writing for someone else's voice. Yeah. So a lot of the things she would say, or the way she would say it really wouldn't be what I would say. And so even in the writer's room, I might say, hey, how about this joke? And she'd say, you know what, that sounds like more something you would say. Why don't you save it and say it on the show today?
Interesting.
So that was really cool.
Yeah.
Because she's such a personality-based comic, as am I.
Yeah.
If we were both just kind of like one-liner dudes, it might be a problem. Where I run into that problem is writing on sitcoms and stuff. Yeah. They want you to pull from your own life, and that's where I've been like, ooh, but I might want to use this for stand-up. So that's really hard. You find yourself holding back and going, do I want to look like I have no ideas in the room? Or do I want to have a good stand-up set later? So it's hard.
Yeah, well, and speaking of, I mean, you are very open on stage, and you just go there. I mean, I don't think there's anything that you don't really, you know, you're very, very open. How hard is that for you?
Well, it's hard to know when to not be, and I'm better at that now because it's been so long.
Yeah.
But I think when I was younger, it was just like, you know, before I've even processed something, you just start talking about it, and you look like a crazy person who's just having a breakdown. It's like, you know what? If you went through something, a divorce, a death, go to therapy, handle it, and then report on it later from a funny place. Like, don't get up on stage and be like, my husband just left me. Not that that happened, but, you know, just, you can't act like that.
Yeah.
And I make sure to, you know, keep certain members of my family out of my routine, like their private life, which would be very painful for them. And I make fun of my parents a lot, but it's really, to me, very innocent comments they make that show a generational gap.
Of course.
But at first, they were not happy about it. They felt picked on, which I can understand. But now they're fine with it. And I think in success, they were fine with it. Like, they've seen me on TV, so they're like, oh, wow. And they love to be talked about now.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And probably when you don't talk about them, it's like, why didn't you talk about me?
Yeah, I've heard that before. They're like, so you're moving away from...
well, we're not funny anymore?
Yeah. But yeah, it's hard. You have to make a decision like, this is off limits. So as long as I just keep making it about me, I can't really offend anyone I know.
Yeah. Now, you have a couple of Netflix specials. They're really, really great. And what I want to ask you is, like, when you're writing for a special, it's something that's going to be there forever. Like, you can't change it. Once it's shot, it's done, it's up there. Do you ever get nervous, like, oh gosh, maybe I shouldn't use that? Or how do you know what's working that it's going to be on tape, you know?
I never sort of think of it as it's for the special, because it's usually just what I toured with that year.
Yeah.
Because mostly I go to every city every year, and so I have to have new stuff for each city. So it comes from that, and then you go, oh look, I have this great hour, I'll ask Netflix if they want to put it on. So I don't like write for the special, it just sort of ends up being where I retire all that material. The only thing that sucks about it is, so I already know it's been tried and tested for a year.
Right.
Like, so I know this is gonna work for the people that like me. I mean, not like everyone's gonna like it, but what sucks is after it happens to every comic, it goes up on Netflix, and then you're like, I thought of a better punchline for that joke, and I can't redo the special, and you want to call everyone with Netflix and go, okay, now, this is what I would have said there.
Yeah.
So, but I just have to, I don't look at it again, I don't think about it. It's like a yearbook. It's like, well, that was that year, you know?
Yeah.
It sucks though, because I feel like, if I feel like one special is funnier than the other, I don't even want anyone to watch the first one. I'm like, I don't watch it. So yeah, it's like weird with bands. For bands I like their early stuff better.
Right.
But with comedy, I think you get better.
No, your second one, I think, they're
better.
very different.
I think comedy gets better as you get older, whereas it's different than music, I think, in a way.
Yeah, and also, I mean, I know a lot of your stuff is personal and everything, but with this political climate that we have right now, how hard is it not to go there, or do you just go there? I mean, you just look at what Trump did today. I mean, for goodness sake, like, it's every day, it's a new comedy thing that you can draw from.
I mean, I only don't just because it doesn't bode well for my career, in the sense that I'm always going for that, like, let's tour with this, let's get the jokes really perfect. So because he does something crazy every day, I'd have to write new material every day, and it's not going to be strong jokes.
Right.
So I just talk about in general how the climate makes me feel, which is like, oh my God, like, so in a show I'm doing now that I'm working on new stuff for, I talk about my family's totally bought into him. When I was younger, it was like, we don't trust rich people, we don't trust the Russians, they're gonna nuke us. And now they love, oh, Russia's great, we're best friends, rich people are amazing. And I'm like, wait, what happened? They're totally bought into Trump. So I talk about, you know, that I don't talk to half of my family anymore, and you know, that kind of stuff. So that's always gonna be that, you know, it's not going to change based on what he does. They're always going to love him. I'm always going to be horrified. So I can tour with that for a year, and I mean, it's insane what's going on.
It is insane.
It's almost like I was despondent after he got elected. I didn't do comedy for months.
Really?
I had nothing to say. I felt like nothing was worth saying.
And how can things be funny? I get that, I guess.
And I didn't want to distract. I wanted everyone to be marching and not laughing, and I just didn't want to be part of the distraction. And now it seems like, oh no, people are
want the
suffering.
Laughs. And look at Saturday Night Live. I mean, my goodness, you know, every week everybody looks forward to that, what they're going to say.
Well, I think with this administration too, comedy is kind of important to do, because they get humiliated really easily by it, and it's good to expose them as cowards that way. So at first, when he got elected, I was like, I think we should all stop doing comedy and just be, you know, volunteer with homeless people. But now I'm like, oh no, I think comedy actually helps break this administration up.
Yeah. So after this, we're going to see you in Toronto in September.
Yes.
So tell us what we can expect from that tour.
Okay, so you guys in Toronto are going to get what I call my all new material tour.
Good.
So that's the stuff I'm working on now. There will be some stuff, like I said, about my family and me and Trump. There's going to be stuff about, oh my God, I can't even remember. I've just been getting older and dealing with like people in their 20s that I could be their mom, you know, and I literally am blanking on my own stuff.
Oh, that's okay. There's lots of good stuff.
It's going to be funny, yeah.
Oh, good.
It won't all be politics, so people don't have to worry.
No, we look forward to having you in Toronto. Well, it's such a pleasure, and it's so nice to meet you and talk to you, and good luck with everything.
Thank you.
We'll see you back in Toronto.